what's something that you as a salesperson or business owner can learn from the Sony Marvel breakup over Spider-Man and then them getting back together to make the deal happen, and why does it matter to you? I'm Scott Sylvan Bell. I'm coming to you live from Sacramento, California on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about you. I'm, 20 miles south of Sacramento out on the river, and I'm like, let's talk about Spider-Man. So here's the thing. It came out recently that Spider-Man is back in the MCU. And as a salesperson and as a business owner, what you really should do is take big deals and dissect them and see, like, how can I make that work for me? How can I look at what happened and go, I can use that to be a better deal maker, a better negotiator. So I got my list of 7 things that happened that you need to know about. Okay, so first off, the breakup that they had was very public, and there were some very interesting things said back and forth. And what that does is that's a PR campaign. That's politicking at its best to get people to be engaged, right? It's interesting at that point. And if you can get people interested, you can create momentum. You can create a movement. So number 2 on the list is the fans got engaged. They did. Fans wrote to Sony. Fans wrote to Marvel Studios, to the MCU, and they're like, we want Spider-Man. We want Spider-Man. Please don't get rid of him. And so there's times where the PR campaign can work to your favor, and you just have to sit down and figure out, how can I create a PR campaign that's going to work to my favor against the other person, so that maybe fans or people will send notes in. And you know what? I'm not an attorney, so some of this stuff you have to check into because some of it may be legal. Not an attorney, right? I don't even play one on YouTube. And then 3, rumors and speculation. There is and was some effort to put information out on both sides of what was going on. Some of it fake, some of it real, some of it real, some of it fake. And the reason for that is to keep people engaged, right? Let's go back to lesson number 1, get people engaged, right? But the PR campaign that was used, some of it was misinformation, some of it was correct. And what that does is that keeps people re-engaged. So first, right, we got the breakup that's public, and that's going to get people engaged. And then 2, get the fans engaged. And then 3, really the thing is that I'm looking for to say is agitation, right? They're looking to agitate the fans. Okay, and then here's what happens. It's just like in a sales process, it was an emotional roller coaster. The deal's on. Yeah, we got Spider-Man. The deal's off. Boo, where'd he go? The deal's on. We got Spider-Man. Yeah, the deal's off. Boo, right? It went back and forth. And so the power of engagement, this kept everything on the forefront. This kept, like, people on YouTube shooting videos and things written and content going back and forth, right? And don't make any mistake that this really does help the power of negotiation, because you can see how viable your idea is if there's a bunch of people engaged and you're like, hey, I want this product or service. You can kind of get a feel for how much that product or service is worth. And there was the going back and forth, yes, no. And I got to tell you, with as many people that were engaged, and with Venom doing $1 billion and Spider-Man Far From Home doing $1 billion, there's definitely people who are interested, and both sides are like, we know there's money. We know there's money involved, and we know that there's a deal, but how much? How much are people engaged? How much money is involved? What could we really do with this? Okay. And then 5 was the timeline and dates. So if you take a look when this started happening, let's say 60 to 75 days ago, right at the end of summer, where it was like, hey, we're going to lose Spider-Man from the MCU. Well, there's a timeline involved where things have to happen. So last week, the movie was released on DVD and Blu-ray. And so my belief was that the deal was going to happen before then, because it was going to overshadow the events. And as more movies come out, now it's not interesting anymore. So you as a business owner, or you as a salesperson, need to look for key dates of things that happen, because there may be something that's going to trigger people to be like, I don't care, right? We're getting towards the holidays, late 2019. We're within 60 days of Thanksgiving right now. And so that's something that you have to go, okay, how could that timeline be used against me? How could it work to my favor, right? How can it work to my favor? 2, how could it be used against me in the entire sales process or negotiation process? Either one, okay? And then 6 on this list was merchandising fees and all the things that come about with visibility. And so if you think about it, here's what happened. It came that one side gets 25%, the other person gets 75% of the gate. And so that's all the merchandising fees and the visual effects. And then here's the other thing. Is like, anytime that you can introduce characters that direction and then introduce characters this direction, there is a split combination of money to be made. And so that was part of the deal, was like, maybe, right, from what I'm hearing, maybe Morbius, which is a vampire, is going to be pushed into the MCU. I don't know, right? I'm I'm hearing some rumors. I'm hearing some rumors, and that's something to pay attention to. That's something that you should know about, is like, what are some crossover points that may not necessarily be with the business that could really help you in the long term, that would be cool, that would be awesome. And you know what? If you could put like Venom and Spider-Man in the MCU, and then you could put the MCU, you know, in Venom and Spider-Man, like look at that. I mean, it I don't really like the phrase win-win, but there is a point where both sides do make some money and they do split. So merchandising fees is one of those big deals, because like if you buy like a Spider-Man t-shirt, then some of that money's got to go to Sony, some of that money's got to go to the MCU. This is why I said this deal was going to happen, is because there was too much money in between and too much capability for people to walk away and be like, I got money, right? And then 7 is just paying attention overall to the feel of the people engaged. Now, it was reported that Sony was saying they didn't like Kevin Feige, and there was reported that Kevin Feige was saying that they didn't like Sony, and that it was Tom Holland that was eventually the guy who saved the deal. Spider-Man saved the deal, right? So you got to know the key players and who you might be able to make a phone call to and be like, I need help. I need some help here. I need somebody to drop in and save the day. So know who you can get engaged beyond the fans. Like sometimes you need a celebrity. Sometimes you need a spokesperson. That's what they did. Somehow Tom Holland got in. It's like, dude, what are we doing? We should be making movies both ways. You're going to get some movies. I'm going to get some movies. They're going to get some movies. Let's do it. Okay. So those are the 7 things that you need to know about the Sony Marvel deal that really do matter, and it can help you be a better salesperson or a better negotiator. Got one thing to do from here, just one thing. Find the subscribe button, click on it. Every time I send out a video, you'll get an update that says Scott Bell Consultant sent out another fantastic video, probably from a cool location, right? A couple weeks ago, I'm in New York. Today, I'm in Sacramento. A couple weeks in the future, probably Honolulu, Maui, Hawaii. Just saying, there's a huge probability that that's going to happen. We'll see you soon. Thanks for dropping by. Aloha.